Today sees the launch of the latest Warhammer game, and we've seen a fair few over the years. This time out, it's a mobile experience with video game studio Perchang at the helm. Drawing the story, characters and location from the Warhammer box game Warhammer Quest Silver Tower, we've been granted access to a pre-release build in order to delve into the lair of the Gaunt Summoner and bring you this review. If you'd rather read this review, please check out the link in the description to take you over to spruesandbrews.com. Perchang are a mobile video game studio who launched back in 2016. Importantly, in the case of Silver Tower, they were also responsible for the hit mobile game Warhammer Quest 2: The End Times. Silver Tower builds on the framework built during the development of The End Times, giving the title a solid foundation. Matt interviewed Ben Murch, Perchang's creative director, back in February of this year when the game was announced to the world. You can find that in the link in the description below. Back in 2016, Games Workshop announced they'd be bringing back the board game series called Warhammer Quest. 2 to 4 players would choose a hero and battle through a more traditional style RPG rather than a head-to-head battle, which is what Warhammer is primarily known for. The first title for the return of Warhammer Quest was Silver Tower, a mysterious labyrinth filled with Tzeentch magic and enemies, accumulating in a final showdown with the Gaunt Summoner himself. Throughout the game, your heroes would find upgrades to help them fight an ever-increasing number of enemies. Silver Tower is a free-to-play, turn-based strategy game where you, the player, has to negotiate around a number of quests with different victory conditions. The camera is set to an isometric point of view with the ability to zoom in and out of the game. The turn-based mechanics utilise a grid-based movement and targeting system, with each of your heroes having 2 available actions per turn. Once all 3 of your heroes have completed their actions, you then end the turn. The enemies, controlled by the AI, will then proceed with their actions, whether that be moving around the map or attacking you. By selecting a hero, you can view how far they can move. The grids in blue take 1 action to complete, whilst those in yellow take both available actions. You can select an enemy to see how far they can move to, which becomes essential as you progress through the levels and the difficulty starts to ramp up. This is most definitely a game that rewards thought, in particular again as the difficulty increases. Enemies in range will appear under a red grid when your hero is selected. 1 attack equals 1 action. However, you do have the chance to score a critical hit, and at times your character may proc into a death blow, giving you additional free attacks. The enemies also have 2 actions, and from the many hours I've played of the game so far, I've been impressed with how they react. Acolytes armed with magic will keep their distance and fling bolts of fiery doom at your poor heroes, whilst those armed with close combat attacks will try and close the distance as quickly as possible. In some cases, the enemy move to a more advantageous position, whether to try and flank or set themselves up for a future turn. A quest will end once the victory conditions are met. These are displayed at the start of the quest and generally involve either killing a certain number of enemies, reaching the exit, or destroying the Tzeentch obelisks. We've been treated to some glorious looking mobile games, in particular in the past 6 months to a year. Silver Tower won't push the boundaries of what your mobile device can do graphically, but then it doesn't need to. The isometric view zooms close enough to the action to see the animations of your characters attacking and moving. Each character, whether it be a hero or an enemy, are well rendered and well animated. It's great seeing the plethora of champions and opponents, such as the Knight Questor of the Stormcast Eternals or the fire-hungry Brimstone Horrors, come to life within the game. I love the little details and animations within the gameplay environment, my favourite being the eyes dashing about on some of the levels as the action unfolds, giving you that real eerie Tzeentch feeling, as if the architect of fate is watching your every move. The environments feel like they belong in the Silver Tower and reflect the boards we saw in the physical release of the board game. Another feature I'd like to point out is some of the interactive elements within the levels themselves. The first time I encountered them resulted in the death of 2 of my heroes, and a grin appeared on my face as I begin to realise even the tower itself would be a foe. The enemies do sometimes encounter these too, giving you more tactical options should they inexplicably finish a move in a dangerous position. A special note should also be said for the music throughout the game. From within the quests and the menus, they're suitably eerie and creepy as you traverse through the tower. Each of the heroes within the game have a unique ability that can be used within the quests. The Dark Oath Archer, for example, can summon a Chaos Hound, who you can control for 2 turns. The Ogre Leadbelcher, on the other hand, has a Thunderous Blast, which does 3 explosive shots on a 3x3 gridded area, and in addition sets fire to said tiles for a turn. Some of these abilities, such as the ogres, can only be used once per quest. Others have a turn cooldown before they can either be used or used again. Each ability is in keeping with the style of the hero, and they are really fun to use. At the moment, it appears your character is locked into one particular ability which cannot be swapped out. I'd love to see in a future update the ability to change these abilities. The main story quests are grouped into different segments, each consisting of between 4 and 6 quests. These in many cases end up with a harder end character, such as the Gaunt Summoner himself. Between the main story quests, you'll want to explore the array of daily quests, each with the chance to earn either in-game currency, weapons, or XP. I quickly found that purely sticking to the main quest wouldn't work, and that you will need to use the daily quests to ensure your heroes level up and gain new upgrades and weapons. Whenever I felt the quests were starting to get too easy or repetitive, the layout of the game board would change, or the enemies would creep up in difficulty, keeping me wanting to play the game. Whereas the opening quest you could throw your heroes headfirst into your enemies, as the quest progresses, you'll find yourself hanging back, perhaps saving your ranged heroes' actions so they can do a reaction shot, which is triggered when an enemy enters your champion's field of vision. Upgrades in this game are known as boons, and can give you, as an example, additional critical hit bonuses. These can be equipped to your heroes, and later, when new heroes are summoned, you can switch the equipment around without penalty. If you find you're gaining multiple weapons and boons that you don't require anymore, you can choose to sell these. The core component for me when I was playing through Silver Tower was the excitement of unlocking new heroes to try out. In order to summon heroes, you need to earn summoning stones. These can then be spent to summon heroes, or champions as they're known in the game. 100 stones nets you 1 or 2 star champions, whilst 250 earns you an epic summon, rewarding you with a 3 star or above champion. These are a little slow to accumulate, however it is not impossible to play through the game without buying additional stones using your own money. If, like me, you want to unlock new characters a little quicker, then the in-app purchases are reasonably priced, with a range of prices starting at 99p and going up to 99.99. Gold can also be purchased, whilst boons and weapons can be unlocked via the in-game currency. Your band of heroes can be viewed at a glance within the menu system. Here you can equip them with weapons and boons, level them up if they've earned enough XP, and read what their unique ability can do. You also get a nice shot of the character you are viewing, as well as a name for them generated when you summon the character. Whilst a small point, I would have liked the option to click and zoom in on the heroes, allowing me to spin them and see more of the character details. This is commonplace in games of this style, but is missing from this particular title. Not by any means anything game-breaking, but would have been a nice addition. It is possible when summoning to encounter multiples of the same heroes. They'll vary in stats, however the unique ability will remain the same. What I have found is, I soon started to recruit a number of the same heroes, with some I'd likely not to ever use. At the moment there's no way to remove a character you have summoned, which is resulting in my character select screen becoming quite full. The ability to remove a character, perhaps earning you a portion of summoning stones back, or XP, or in-game currency in the process, would have been something I'd like to have seen. This above point rarely comes into force when selecting the heroes you wish to take into a quest. Whilst the current level of the hero is displayed, there's no way at a glance to see which has equipment or boons attached to them. This results in remembering the order in which they appear on the champion screen, which isn't an ideal way of making sure you're taking the right heroes into the quest. I'm a massive fan of the various characters in the Age of Sigmar universe, and was a big fan of the original board game of which the title is based on, so I was really excited to get my hands on the game. It really hasn't disappointed me. The clever design nods within the quest and the tactical gameplay has kept me coming back for more. The real draw for me is wondering which character I'll unlock next, as to date I haven't unlocked them all. Summoning stones can be a little slow to gain, and the lack of ability to see details of the heroes you are choosing to take into your quest is disappointing. However, this does not diminish from the excellent work Perchang have done here. I had a real blast playing Silver Tower, and will be continuing to do so even after this review is published. Personally, I feel this is a must-download title for any fans of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Thank you for taking the time to watch this review. Keep your eye on spruesandbrews.com and our YouTube channel for more great content, and don't forget to check out our weekly podcast, which is available across all the normal streaming services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Until next time, happy hobbying!